I'm telling you, dude. Don't act like I don't know what I'm doing here because I'm hitting the same button over and over.
The iPhone knows all. It knows you're a boomer, so it just messes with you a little bit.
Just
No
stop.
big deal. No big deal, Chris. We're here.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You know what? Is the dead giveaway that I'm a boomer? That I over-dyed my beard this week, and I don't know. I don't know. I think it looks better.
You look good.
Average.
Boomers are self-conscious. Millennials and Gen Z very confident for no reason. That's the difference.
Got it. Oh, yeah, I got a ton of issues. I have a therapy meeting every Friday, so I can't wait till tomorrow. All right, dude. Interesting stuff happening in the baseball world. Some good matchups, particularly out west. And let's start with the Mets and the Padres tonight. Mm-hmm. So it's the battle of the $340 million shortstop against the $341 million shortstop. We're hoping. Tatis, is still bothered a little bit by an oblique. They're hopeful that he'll be back in the lineup tonight. We will see. What storyline is more interesting at shortstop? The fact that Tatis continues to ascend, or the fact that Lindor, for the first time playing for the Mets, has really struggled the first 2 months?
See, I want to talk about Tatis, but I want to dispel this whole thing like that Lindor is done. Because I think this is really just a blip in the road for him. Mm-hmm. It doesn't – at 26, 27 years old, you don't just fall off a cliff. I think there's a lot of things going on here. New environment, pressure of a big contract. I think we're going to be looking back at the beginning of the season, even by the end of the year, being like, oh, okay, just a slow start for him. He's accumulated almost one WAR now. I'd be willing to bet he's somewhere like 3.5 by the end of the year, which isn't too far down from where he's been. He's been a 7 WAR player before. Mm-hmm. He's more comfortable in like that 5 WAR range. So I think maybe we have a year where he's a little bit down this year. And then I would say even next year, I'd be willing to bet he's an all-star next year. I think there's just a little bit of an adjustment period for him. Think about what he has to do, man. He leaves Cleveland. When you play in the Central Division is very comfortable. It's not a big media market. You can get comfortable there. You don't have to deal with a lot of the things that he has to deal with now. Like, not only is it he's playing for the Mets in New York, but, like, you signed that contract and you got to do a bunch of off-the-field stuff now and you got to focus on different things. I think once he gets the reins on all of that and gets back into, like, a good, established routine, which he will, I think we're going to see the Francisco Lindor that we've been used to seeing. I think he's 3.5 WAR at the end of this year, and I think he's an all-star next year.
So, a few things. First of all, Tatis's numbers are insane.
I love Tatis. Fuck.
And there's no question. But particularly when you consider he has missed 18 games and he has only one off the home run lead, that's ridiculous. He would be blowing guys away. If he had, let's say he had played in 15 of those 18 games that he had missed, you probably put up another 4 or 5 homers, and he's running away with this thing at this point of the season. But I agree with everything that you have said about Francisco Lindor. And people that have followed my career over the last decade know that he is my favorite Cleveland Indian of all time, in part because of the way he handles things. And, yeah, he's taken some missteps this year, the whole rat versus gopher thing or whatever the hell that was. That was weird. But he is starting to hit a little bit. 3 of his last 5 games, he has multi-hit games. He's starting to swing it. He's starting to feel himself. You're going to see that smile really start beaming, I think. And, look, the Mets have been great with all the injuries and without the guy they traded for. This is not, I don't know who that's been in Francisco Lindor's uniform. It has not been him. And one last thing, you are dead on. I can't tell you how many guys have told me they felt more pressure, Plouffe, once they signed the big deal than before when they were trying to get the money.
Yeah, I think that's the mark of someone that really cares. Like, he feels the pressure because he wants to live up to the contract. I think he'll tone it down a little bit, understand how to rein that emotion in. And I think the biggest thing, like I said, Chris, is getting back to his baseball routine. It's got uplifted. It's been changed. He just needs to dial in a little bit, and he'll be fine.
Okay, let's move on to the other big series out west. It is the Cubs at the Giants. I like to call this the, hey, let's make Chris Rose shut the hell up bowl, because I've been all over both franchises saying, hey, cute little start, but I think you're both sellers at the deadline. So which team is more likely to make me look like an idiot?
Oh, man. I had a joke there. I'm not going to do it on you. I'm not going to do it.
Why?
I will say this.
Go, come on, dude.
It's not. Whatever. We're moving on. You're not an idiot. I was going to say you're an idiot, but you're not an idiot. You're a great
But
guy.
you could say I'm an idiot either way, whether both teams fall out of the standings or not. You're a complete moron, believe me.
I think they're both good teams, but in the near future, you got to look at the schedules here. Obviously, they're playing each other right now. Then you go, the Giants have Texas, Washington, Arizona, Philly, and the Angels. Like those are all winnable series right there. And then if you go to the Cubs, let me get it up here. They have a much tougher schedule. They got the Giants, obviously, then the Padres, then the Cardinals, then the Mets, then Miami, then Cleveland for 2 before the Dodgers, Milwaukee, Cincinnati. They have a hell of a schedule coming up. This is definitely make or break time for them. This is going to be, if they can get through that portion of the schedule and still be good, they're going to be, flipping the bird to you and to the trade deadline. So I think the Giants will probably be that team that's going to call you an idiot. But I'd really like both of them to be able to say that.
That was my pointer finger. I wouldn't flip them. Okay, so one interesting stat for me.
Okay.
The Giants are tied with the Yankees for the most shutouts in all of baseball. The Cubs are tied with the Brewers as the only teams that haven't thrown a shutout in a year where it's easier to hold teams down than ever before. So we've talked about the Cubs' lack of starting pitching on this show before. I think that's going to be a problem, continue to be a problem. A Cubs fan came at me yesterday on Twitter, and I owned up to it. He was like, didn't you say that the Cubs were going to suck? I said, I didn't say the Cubs were going to suck. I said I didn't think that they could hang with the Cardinals and the Brewers in the Central. And I want to quote one baseball philosopher who said, I don't think we've really proven anything. It's June 2nd. We've proven to each other how much fun we're having, how good we are, but there are 4 more months. That's from Anthony Rizzo. That's not from Chris Rose. That's from Anthony Rizzo, who plays Major League Baseball. So as great as the stories have been, everybody just slow your roll for a second. We're 1/3 of the way through this, baby, and that's it.
100%, man. I totally agree with that statement. Those guys know because they've been there before.
Yes.
It's a long season. I do think both these teams have a chance, Chris. I really, really do. But this next part of the schedule for the Cubs is the deciding factor that's going to decide, are we going to be together at the end of the season, or I think Anthony Rizzo will be there, or are the other guys, Bryant and Baez, going to be gone?
Yep. I still think Bryant's on the move, and I still think some of the Giants pieces are on the move, although you and I seem to differ on that. All right, let's move on to the Astros trying for the 4-game sweep of Boston this afternoon in Houston. For the Red Sox, bump in the road or kind of scary times ahead?
I think it's more of a bump in the road only because the Astros are just a damn good team. They're the best offensive team in baseball if you're looking at weighted runs created plus. So they came in, shellacked them the first game 11-2, and then they've been close games 5-1, I think, then 3-1, something like that. So I think it's more of, hey, man, our offense went cold. Houston's a really good team. If they can salvage this last game, I think they'll just throw this behind them. If they get swept, it's a little bit more of a problem maybe mentally for them, but even then I think they just move on. It's a really good team. When a good team comes in and you're not playing well, you're going to lose some games. So for me, I think it's a bump in the road. Obviously, they've surprised the hell out of – the Red Sox buy Cubs and Giants, if you know. So I'm happy that they're doing it. We talked about Pivetta and Richards yesterday and how they've stepped up. Pivetta looked good last night. So I think it's just more of a bump in the road, if you ask me.
So if anything, even if Boston loses today, the one thing they should be able to take out of this, although I think they gave up 11 runs in that Monday game, is that for the most part their pitching has held up pretty well against a tough lineup. Problem is they haven't swung the bats. They've scored 4 runs in those 3 losses. But I look at the schedule, okay? We talked about June and we circled it for the Red Sox. So after this series, they face New York for the first time all year. Actually, they have 6 games against the Yankees in June. 3 more with Houston, 4 with Toronto, 3 with Tampa Bay. Then their easier part of the June schedule is 6 against the Royals, who they're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team because they can lay it on you offensively. 2 with Atlanta and 1 with Miami. And they only have 2 off days the entire month. This is going to be a dog-tired team after facing some of these lineups. if they get through this month strictly at 500, that is a win for Red Sox Nation. I will see. I want to wait.
Yeah, look, like Rizzo said, we're 2 months through.
Yes.
We got to. Standings are great they're great for fans to look at, and they make for good conversation between you and I. But the reality is that even June doesn't matter and July doesn't matter. Like, you got to get through this whole season. So yes, all these teams have to stay healthy. They have to continue to achieve, if you will. And then the depth comes into question. And I don't know how much pitching depth the Red Sox have. I don't think
very little.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can keep doing it. We're hoping that. I want all the teams to do well because that makes for a fun September.
Well, yes, it does. The more teams, the merrier. Let's go. We don't want to see teams battling for draft position. That sucks.
And I love my guy Chaim Bloom that came over from the Rays.
Yeah,
so I'm rooting for him, and he's exceeded expectations. Obviously, you trade Mookie Betts, and you get people to completely forget about that because your team is good, like way sooner than they thought.
I don't think they've completely forgotten.
You don't hear talked about that much anymore. Maybe I'm
you don't. There's a difference between not talked about much and completely forgotten.
You're true. That's right.
Because if Boston is sitting out the postseason party and Mookie's doing what he did last October, they're not going to forget.
Maybe that's what it is. Mookie's he's been good, but not like Mookie yet this year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Great call. All right, last one. Did you see Braves fans, what they were chanting the other day in Juan Soto's direction? They chanted overrated at the dish, and he has certainly responded. And so did the Nationals Twitter account when they came out with the lineup yesterday. It's Trey Turner hitting first, blah, blah, blah. And they put hitting third and playing right field or left field overrated. They didn't even put Juan Soto's name, and then he responded with a home run and a huge game. Do you think Braves fans should continue with that shtick today and keep chanting overrated, or should they say, yeah, maybe we should tone it down?
They should take a page or don't do what the New York Knicks fans did. Messing with Trae Young. Don't do that because he silenced them all. And then, I love Braves Twitter. I'm a big fan of Braves Twitter. They're a smarter fan base than that. So I think this is just a few people that started this chant. Obviously.
Hey, hold on though, Plouffe. It's more than a handful of people. You could hear the chants of overrated.
Yeah, it's mob mentality. Once a few people do it, they all do it.
Stop.
Juan Soto, you can rate him the highest rating you can give, and he'll never be overrated. The guy's 22 freaking years old, Chris, and he's already he's a top 3 hitter in baseball.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This isn't the first time that these fan bases or Soto in particular has been involved in something. We all remember what Joe Simpson said about him a couple of years ago, which was moronic. And then I think in the offseason, a Braves fan said something about Soto not winning NL Rookie of the Year on Twitter, and he responded with just an emoji of a ring. So Soto's involved in this too. And by the way, have you seen what he's done the first 2 games of this series?
Yes.
He's been on base 7 of 9 plate appearances. Just saying. And I get that his OPS this year is 847, which is like 110 points lower than his career average. But he's still – when he faces the Braves, something goes – do you know who's got his best OPS against any National League team?
Is it the Braves?
It's the Braves. Do you know who he has his most homers against any National League team?
Sounds like the Braves to me.
It's not the Braves. It's the Phillies, but the Braves are second. So there you go.
But yeah, I mean, what he's accomplished already is incredible. So I don't know, man. They should just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, and by the way, the Acuna-Soto battle over the next decade is going to be phenomenal in that division.
He's the kind of guy, Chris, where I think the game is so easy to him.
Yeah.
When someone tells him you can't do something, or he gets a little something like that, he flips on that extra switch and actually tries harder, and that's not good. Don't do that. They should be killing this guy with kindness, telling him how good he is, because I think then he'll mellow out a little bit. The opposite is not true. Do not go at this guy because he will tear your heart out.
All right, I'm about 10 minutes from a big lifting session with my trainer, so I can get for body and shape. What do you have going on with Jomboy Media today?
I have nothing coming out today. We're filming our series recap tomorrow morning. That'll be live on our YouTube page, Talking Baseball YouTube page. Good. So that's it, man. I'm chilling. I got the kids today. We're going to the pool, all that good stuff. I already got my workout in.
That away.
What about you? What do you got?
So I'm wearing my Reds spring training hat from a couple of years ago because Nicholas Castellanos, his episode with Miguel Rojas is out. I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to pick a favorite episode I've had because we've had 28 great ones, and I appreciate everybody's time. Castellanos takes us to places that we haven't gone before. I'm just telling you, he is as honest as he gets. We covered everything. He faces St. Louis tonight. He's going to tell you why he loves playing there. What really pissed him off about being suspended after the Cardinals incident. What took him to becoming the elite hitter that he is. He's always been able to rake. He's on a different planet right now. And there's just some amazing stuff that happens. So go watch it. Give it the old thumbs up. And Miguel Rojas is great. He actually joined us from his locker because he's getting rehab right now on his digit that he busted up. And shows us around the locker room. And a teammate makes a surprise appearance.
I like that. I like Castellanos a lot. I've known him for a long time. I saw him come up in Detroit. He used to be a very bad uni guy, but then that if you're in Detroit, you're a bad uni guy. They're the worst unis in baseball, like all those belt loops and the mock turtleneck thing that they do. Horrible. So I'm glad he's out of there. He looks really good in his uni now. And he's a raker.
Yeah. So listen, everybody have a great day. Enjoy your baseball. Some great matchups coming your way today. We will see you again on Friday when I am debuting a brand new hat that I am super excited about. I'm just telling you, it came yesterday and I thought it was like the holiday season.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was good.
I'm excited now.
Really good. All right, buddy. Have a great day. Enjoy the kids in the pool. Don't forget to wear your floaties.
See ya.
All right.